So, the U.S. government has now absurdly decided to clear themselves of any wrongdoing in droning babies, which they did recently in Afghanistan. So take a look at this tweet from the AP. It kind of lays it out here for us. Breaking. A Pentagon review concludes that the U.S. drone strike that killed innocent Kabul civilians and children in the final days of the Afghanistan war was not caused by misconduct or negligence and doesn't recommend disciplinary action, AP learns. See, this is great. This is like when the cops are like, everybody relax. I know we just murdered an unarmed black person, but we did an internal review, and turns out Officer Dave is a real good dude, and he didn't mean anything by it. So we're goodsies, right? Everybody good? Everybody good? No charges. No charges. Everybody shut up. I don't even know why people bother to do the whole song and dance of like, we did an internal review. So in other words, the people who have the most bias and the most conflict of interest, the U.S. government reminds you that the U.S. government is cool, didn't mess up, even though we literally messed up and there's dead babies involved. Come on, man. Come on, man. Don't be this ridiculous. Don't be this silly. So, but look, this is really a declaration. It's a declaration that the United States is not even pretending anymore. They're just saying, we're above the law. By the way, you want to hear an infuriating quote? This is what they go on to say. Quote, "It was not unreasonable. It just turned out to be incorrect." Wouldn't that be the definition of unreasonable when life and death is concerned? Flip the story, right? Let's say we're talking about somebody who's in a gang does a drive-by shooting and kills a baby, and then afterwards says, look, I did an internal review, and my bad, but it turns out I was aiming at the rival gang, and I killed the baby, so there was no negligence or anything like that. It wasn't unreasonable, it was just incorrect. It wasn't unreasonable, it was just incorrect. Incorrect is the definition of unreasonable when you're shooting at shit. Like, how does anybody buy this? Does anybody buy this? I don't know, I'm asking. Does anybody buy this? This is the problem with U.S. foreign policy. Now, riddle me this. Let this swirl around in your head a little bit. Let this thought marinate. What if almost all of the military decisions we've made over the past 2 decades, what if they all really fell into this category? Guess what? That's probably the situation that we're dealing with. This nonsense idea that our military is so good and our technology is so advanced we can kill a mosquito from 3,000 miles away with a laser-guided missile. They can't even not bomb babies in Kabul. You really believe that shit? Do you really believe that shit? You don't believe that shit. And, one of the points I always make on this show, which might be one of my more unpopular takes in lefty circles, is that I view myself as tough on crime when I think the crime is an actual crime. Guess what? I think this is an actual crime. I'm tough on this kind of crime. I'm a believer in law and order. So it's funny how everybody says, we believe in law and order. When it comes to domestic politics, when it comes to the drug war and locking up people who didn't hurt anybody, but all of a sudden the idea of we believe in law and order goes out the window when it's, we committed a crime. The neoconservative imperialists committed a crime. Then all of a sudden it's, we didn't mean anything by it, bro. So some dead babies and stuff. It wasn't unreasonable. It was incorrect, but it wasn't unreasonable. And we knew the thing about the thing, and so we acted because we have the pure intentions of a kind heart and a good soul. We're the world police. We're the believers in freedom and democracy and justice and the upholders of law. Oh, you mean we're the key people who violated the law here? Same thing. I remember the... I'm blanking on the name of the hospital, but there was, I think it was at the end of the Obama administration. One of the things they did was, accidentally bomb a hospital with a lot of civilians in it. Oh, Kunduz. That was the place, I think. And then afterwards, they were like, we were trying to get the Taliban. So in other words, the reason we needed to stay in Afghanistan so long was to protect the civilians from the Taliban. And we did that by bombing the civilians instead of the Taliban. You can't make this shit up. You cannot make this shit up. Look, Chomsky said it best. If the Nuremberg laws were upheld, every post-World War II U.S. president would be hanged. Because they all commit insane crimes. They do. They do. And by the way, I don't even buy the argument about our pure intentions. I don't buy that because I've made this analogy before. But if you have a friend and every time they leave the house, so they leave the house to go to school and they murder somebody with their car and they go, it was an accident. I didn't even mean anything by it. Okay. What if they did that on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday? And on Saturday, they left their house and killed 4 more people to boot. At some point, you got to go, I don't know. I actually don't think you have pure intentions. I think you might be doing this shit on purpose. Or at the very least, you don't give a fuck when you see somebody who's crossing the street. And that's what I think of U.S. empire. I think a lot of the times, primarily, it's about natural resources. It's about jacking natural resources, putting in puppet governments to serve our corporations. And history backs this up. Look at how we exploited South America. Go read about the banana wars if you don't take my word on this. Go read about the banana wars. And then you come back and tell me with a straight face, we're the world police and we care about, rights and justice. And the other thing is, we do all this shit around the world because of the geopolitical chessboard. We want to keep China and Russia at bay, and we're the sole superpower, so we need to exert our influence around the world. That's how we look at it. That's how we look at it. And by the way, so Biden got all the troops out, the boots on the ground out, good. But now they're talking about trying to cut a deal with Pakistan to still allow us to get into Afghan airspace so we can keep bombing. Great, and get more results like this, I'm sure. No, we're going after ISIS-K. You told us these people were ISIS-K. And then when it wasn't, you were like, whoops. But don't get mad at us. Turns out we reviewed it, and we didn't do anything wrong, even though they were dead babies, and we did something really wrong. Hell no, man. Hell no. This is a crime. People should be going to prison. Final point, I'll bring up Daniel Hale. Daniel Hale is the drone whistleblower. He's the person who leaked the information under the Obama administration that 90% of the time when we're using these drone bombs, we're killing innocent people. 90% of the time, we're getting the wrong people. 90%. He leaked that information. Why? He has a conscience. When he was operating the drones, he got a medal. They were praising him for operating the drones. When he leaked the information, oh my God, I just learned we're killing 90% the wrong people, he went to prison. So when you murder people indiscriminately, you're a hero according to the U.S. system. When you leak the facts that 90% we're getting the wrong people, all of a sudden, now you're public enemy number 1, and he's in prison. He's in prison. Pardon Daniel Hale. Now, by the way, the people who are operating those drones to this day, they're not in prison. When Julian Assange and Chelsea Manning leaked video of U.S. war crimes where U.S. soldiers were laughing as they were committing war crimes, they're not in prison. You know who was in prison? Chelsea Manning. You know who's being tortured right now? Julian Assange. Pardon him, too. So you see how backwards the system is. If you protect power, you protect the institutions, protect imperialism, you get rewarded. If you call it out, if you shine a light on it, they throw the book at you. That's how it works. And they're just doing an end zone dance with this bullshit. Yeah, we killed you. Doesn't count. Why? Reasons and stuff and things. If Iran did this, if any official baddie nation did it, we would use it as an excuse to do regime change. We would launch a war over it. With this story coming out, is China allowed to say, we got to do regime change in the U.S., go topple that government? Look, they're clearly war criminals. The rules and the laws don't apply to us because we don't think they should. Because we mean well when we do stuff, whereas you always are a comic book villain and it's nefarious when you do anything. But when we do it, we have the purest of intentions and the kindest heart, so it's okay. It's not okay. It's not okay, and I hope a generation is waking up to this criminal activity. Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.